leave space for more people than those on radio land. Today we're reading from the 17th chapter, verses number 24, 25, 26, and 27. It was 24 and 25. Only don't have purport, only short purport. So I'll read 24 and 25, and then we'll read 26 to 27. 24. Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performances of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with spiritual regulations begin always with Om, to attain the Supreme. Purport. Om Tat Vishnu Param Padam. That's from the Rig Veda, 122.20. The lotus feet of Vishnu are the supreme devotional platform. The performance of everything on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead assures the perfection of all activity. 25. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. Purport. To be elevated to the spiritual position, one should not act for material gain. Acts should be performed for ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom, back home, back to Godhead. Page number 700. Page number 700. Get this Bhagavad Gita? You get a different edition. Anyway, text chapter 17. 17, 20, 26, 27. Sad bhave sadhu bhave cha chariti etat ayujjate aste kavani tata satcham da Varta Yujayate Sadbhave Sadubhave Cha Sariti Ekam Yujate Rasate Kamani Tata Satchabda Varta Yujate Sadbhave Sadubhave Cha Sariti Etat Ayujate Rasate Kamani Tata Satchad Tata Yujate. Someone else? the Supreme. Sadhu Bhave, in the sense of the nature of the devotee. Cha, also. Sat, the word sat. Iti, thus. Etat, this. Ayusyate, is used. Versate, in bona fide. Karmani, activities. Ata, also. Sat, sabda, the sound sat. Artha, the son of Prita. Yujyate is used. Yagne, in sacrifice. Tapasi, in penance. Dane, in charity. Cha, also. Titi, the situation. Sat, supreme. Ti, thus. Cha, and. Uchate is pronounced. Karma, work. Cha, also. Eva, certainly. Tat, with that. Atiyam, meant. Sat, supreme. Iti, thus. Eva, certainly. Vidyate, is indicated. Translation purport by the Venerable H.G.Bhuvaneshwar Swami Srila Prabhupada. The absolute truth is the objective of devotion's sacrifice. It is indicated by the word sat. The form of such sacrifice is also called sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O Son of Partha, Son of Prita. Purport by His Divine Grace H.G.Bhuvaneshwar Swami Srila Prabhupada. The words Pachate Karmani, the prescribed duties, indicate that there are many activities prescribed in the Vedic literature which are purificatory processes, beginning from the time of conception up to the end of one's life. Such purificatory processes are adopted for the ultimate liberation of the living entity. And all such activities which are recommended that one vibrate Om Tat Sat. The words Sad Bhave and Sadhu Bhave indicate the transcendental situation. Acting in Krishna consciousness is called Sattva. And one who is fully conscious of all of the activities of Krishna consciousness is called a sadhu. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the transcendental subject matter becomes clear in the association of devotees. The word used are satam, prasang, gat. Without good association, one cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. By initiating a person or offering the sacred thread, one vibrates the words Om Tat Sat. Similarly, in all kinds of performance of yajna, the object is supreme, Om Tat Sat. The word Tat, Artiyam, further means offering service to anything which represents the supreme, including such service as cooking and helping in the Lord's temple or any other kind of work for broadcasting the glories of the Lord. These supreme words, Om Tat Sat, are used, or thus used, in many ways to perfect all activities and make everything complete. Om Arganat Vandasya Janajana Sakaya Takshuvimitam Jainat Asmei Sri Gurve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swaya Rupa Gadammayam Danti Swapadanti Tam Namo Vishnu Vedaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prashani And it says Shunyavadi Bhaskacharya Satana. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivastava Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation once again. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice. It is indicated by the word sat. The form of such sacrifice is also called sat. And as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, it is true to the absolute nature, performed to please the Supreme Person, O Son of Prita. This chapter is called The Division of Faith. And text 23 says, in the beginning of creation, three words, Om Tat Sat, were used to indicate the Supreme Absolute Truth. These three symbolic representations are used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Supreme. One time we went to a house program here in India, and when we got to the altar, the man had an altar, and the only thing on his altar was a big sign that said Om. So we knew that we don't worship Om. Om is the impersonal representation of the Lord. Om also represents Vishnu, Tat represents liberation, and Sat is for the pleasure, Lord's pleasure. And by vibrating this sound, Om Tat Sat, it removes the obstacles in the path of devotional service. Here's talking about prescribed duties, which should begin from birth, or at least the Krishna conscious people in Krishna, the householders, those who are married in Krishna consciousness. The prescribed recommendation Prabhupada had told all the householders that they should chant 50 rounds before they conceive the child, which seems like a pretty difficult thing to do. But some disciples actually did that. And this was to ensure that the child would take a good birth, auspicious birth. And then this Karmalang Samskara, the process of Krishna consciousness, is something that should be continued throughout one's life. You know, Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of his mother, and Lord Indra arrested Prahlad Maharaj's mother while Hiranyakashipu had gone to perform austerities. So the Narada Muni saw that the wife Hiranyakashipu, who was a shy and chaste lady, believe it or not, she was the wife of a demon, but she said she was shy and chaste. So they arrested the wife of Hiranyakashipu because she was pregnant, she was going to have a child. They thought another demon, like Hiranyakashipu, was going to be born. So they arrested the lady, and they wanted to keep her in their custody till the child was born, and then they would kill the child. But Narada Muni came there and said, no, this child is not going to be a demon. This child will be a great devotee. So then he took the wife of Hiranyakashipu to his ashram, and he instructed her on, she served him very faithfully. She served him, and in turn he instructed the wife of Hiranyakashipu, and he also instructed Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb. She said she wouldn't give birth to a child till Hiranyakashipu came back from performing his austerities. But the demagogues, they have the power to do things like this. So Narada Muni preached to Prahlad Maharaj. And then when he took birth in the kingdom of Hiranyakashipu, then at the age of 5 years, when his father called him to ask him what he learned from his teachers, he enunciated the pure devotional service. And this was taught to him by Narada Muni in the womb. So he remembered what he heard from Narada Muni, but his mother, being a less intelligent woman, she forgot. She forgot maybe part of it, all of it. I don't know how much she forgot. She forgot, so she admitted that she forgot what she had learned. But Prahlad Maharaj, he didn't forget, because he was a pure devotee. He had the power to remember, even in the womb. So his classmates, they were surprised that he could speak this philosophy, because they didn't learn it from their teachers. They wondered where Prahlad Maharaj got this philosophy, this Vaishnava philosophy. So from his very birth, Prahlad Maharaj was a great devotee. And throughout his life, he was a great devotee, went back home, back to Godhead. So this is the, was recommended, Garbhadara Samskara. The parents understand that when the proper time is, when the time is right for conception, the householders that are called grihastras, I mean they live in the ashram. Here the prescribed duties are there for the 4 ashrams: brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. And Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. The Varnashram system was enunciated by the Lord, Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam. So this is a system by which one can, the whole society can be organized in a very calm, peaceful way. Those who are, have propensity to an intellectual class, or the Brahmins, they teach the people and live on charity. Kshatriyas are supposed to protect the people. The Vaishyas are supposed to produce agriculture and cow protection and banking. And Sudras are supposed to work in conjunction with the other 3 classes. In this way you have a perfect society. And Srila Prabhupada said only 50% of his work was finished because he was not able to establish Daivi Varnashram, which means the Varnashram system, and which includes devotional service. Because it says if you perform Varnashram, do your duty, but you don't perform devotional service, then Shravanam Hiya Kevalam is simply a useless waste of time. So it's included. And when Lord Chaitanya met Ramananda Roy, he asked Ramananda Roy how to attain the ultimate goal of life. And the first thing Ramananda Roy said was by Varnashram Dharma. And Lord Chaitanya rejected that. He said that was external, because there's no Varnashram Dharma in the spiritual world. That's for organizing material life and material life, so people can live a peaceful life and practice Krishna consciousness the same way. So here it's describing the position of a sadhu. What does it say? Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Kadikshava Karunika, Shrida Sarvainam, Adatta Satrava Santa, Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. Symptoms of the sadhu: he's tolerant, merciful, friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies, he's peaceful, abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. Engaged constantly in chanting and hearing about me, Supreme Personality Godhead, the sadhus do not suffer from material miseries, because they're always filled with thoughts of my pastimes and activities. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation. And thereafter he is freed from attraction. Thus his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begins. We'll read that again. By cultivating such knowledge means of devotional service, active personality of Godhead, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and then real devotion and devotional service begins. So, one time in America, I went to see a doctor, and when I came out, when I finished there was one lady who looked like an ordinary lady, but she came to me and proudly announced that she was a sadhu. So I said, I don't know, what do you mean, what's a sadhu? And I said, do you worship Lord Krishna? She said, no, I worship Shiva. So this term sadhu is not to be taken cheaply. And people don't really know what a sadhu is. Or you see many people who advertise themselves as sadhus. But here it says a sadhu, the Lord Kapila Dev enunciated that a sadhu is one who is tolerant, merciful, friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He's peaceful, abides by the scripture, and all his characteristics are sublime. So if someone's a sadhu, he has to be abiding by the scriptures. So obviously this lady wasn't abiding by the scriptures. She didn't know what it meant to be a sadhu. But she did come to the temple. I don't know if she became a devotee or not, but that was a strange thing to say, because you expect someone to be a sadhu, at least to dress like a sadhu. At least here in India, many people put on saffron, are respected as sadhus, but they did their daily activities just to go to different places and get something to fill their belly. But a sadhu is not only a Krishna conscious person, but he's also interested in delivering the fallen conditioned souls. So this is the definition. Here it's describing sat, Om Tat Sat, and sat is the activities that should be performed. So the activities of the sadhu, Prabhupada writes as purport that when one is a sadhu, one is a Krishna conscious person, he'll have many enemies. Like Jesus Christ was crucified, Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces, and Lord Nityananda even got struck on the head by Jagai Marai. So this is possible. When one becomes a sadhu, one is preaching Krishna consciousness. It's risky business, because people don't like Krishna consciousness movement, because we're telling people they have to give up eating meat, taking intoxication, having this, and gambling. And this is the basis of everyone's life in the material world. So we're saying you have to close the slaughterhouses, close the liquor shops, close the houses of prostitution, and close the gambling houses. And this is their source of income, and what they think of where they get their pleasure from, their sense gratification. So they don't want to give these things up. And so they think the devotees are crazy or something, and that they want to give up these things, because people think that this is the goal of life, to eat, sleep, drink, and be merry. That there's nothing else. They think that At the end of life, there's nothing at the end of life. You're not responsible for this life. And so you can do anything you want. And where the youth, old age, one thing is changing his body, and one has to be virat, so sober at the time of death. So in the Bhagavatam class, the man was saying there's no such thing as death, but death means that the soul can no longer tolerate the pain of this body. That's one definition of death. And death means the soul has to go to another body. So the body is temporary, made of Kalpa, Pita, Vayu, these three ingredients, mucus, bile, and air. And everyone in the material world identifies with his body and thinks he's his body. I'm a meti, I, me, mine. But the actual situation is Brahmasmi, I'm not this body. But people don't know that. They think they are this body, and their life is just meant for sense gratification. So and that's one meets a sadhu, or a Krishna conscious person like Srila Prabhupada, and takes instruction from him, then there's no chance of understanding what human life is meant for, and how to get out of the cycle of birth and death. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koi, Lava Mantra, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. The verdict of all scriptures is that even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. And it also says, Asat Sangha Tyaga, Ek Vaishnava Char, Sri Sangi Eka Asadu, Krishna Bhakta Har. A Vaishnava should always avoid the association with ordinary people. Common people are very much materially attached, especially to women. Vaishnavas should also avoid the company of those who are not devotees of Krishna. So this is, and it says one should associate with devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, recite in Mathura, and worship these with faith and veneration. So this is what is being described here. The process of advancing in devotional service by association with the devotee. So in the beginning, one develops a little faith, and then by that faith, one starts to associate with devotees. And then Bhajana Kriya, that's called faith, Shraddha. Then Sadhu Sangha. Then one takes initiation, Bhajana Kriya. Then Anartha Nivritti, when one's free from all the anarthas in the heart, then the path to liberation is open. And from Anartha Nivritti, there's Nistha, firm faith. And that means putting your faith in something sublime. This is the what this chapter is called, Divisions of Faith. So this verse describes Sat, which is the putting your faith in something sublime, which means to please the Supreme Personality, that Samsiddhi Haritoshana. That's the real faith we should have. That by pleasing Krishna, by working Krishna consciousness, that we're doing the right thing. In the material world, people don't know what's right and what's wrong, and who's who, or what's what. But Prabhupada, by reading Prabhupada's books, we don't have any confusion about right and wrong. So from Nistha, one of the things, Ruchi, and from Ruchi, Asakti, and Bhava, and then Prema. So from Nistha, one is free from all material desires. One can practice Raganuga Bhakti, or enter into the pastimes of the Lord. But from the lower stage, we are practicing Vaidhi Bhakti, which means we follow the rules and regulations. Of course, even an advanced devotee does not give up the rules and regulations. Even a Uttama Adhikari, he still follows the rules and regulations to set the example for other devotees. But he's not obligated to follow the rules and regulations because an Uttama Adhikari has achieved the goal, and so he doesn't need to follow rules and regulations. But he does so just to set the example so other people will not be misled. Like Srila Prabhupada, we always went to Kumbh Mela 1975, and it was cold, and devotees wouldn't get up for Mangal Arati. So Prabhupada himself got up for Mangal Arati, took a cold bath, just to set the example, so the other devotees would come for Mangal Arati also. In this way, the sadhu teaches by example. One mother had a son who was eating too much sugar. So she went to one sadhu and she said, "No, can you tell my son to stop eating sugar?" And he said, "Well, you'll have to come back in a week." So they came back after a week, and he said to the boy, "You should stop eating sugar." So the mother said, why you couldn't say that the first time? He said, "Well, I had to stop eating sugar, then I could tell him to stop eating sugar." So this is the Acharya, or Prabhupada was the founder of Acharya of ISKCON, and he taught by his example. Acharya means one who teaches by example. So Prabhupada, throughout his life actually, was always Krishna conscious. One reporter asked Prabhupada, "When did you first realize God?" And Srila Prabhupada didn't answer the question. He said, "Oh, you too can become Krishna conscious." Then the reporter asked the question again. Again, Prabhupada didn't try to avoid the question. Then the reporter said, "Oh, I may be just swimming in ignorance. But Swamiji, when was the first time you realized God?" And Prabhupada said, "Oh, when I was 4 or 5 years old." And all the boys went, "Haribol." So, Srila Prabhupada was a advanced soul. He also exhibited all the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, devotee. The Lord Rishabdev, he also instructed his sons about devotional service. He had 100 sons. So Lord Rishabdev said, "Mahat sevam duram ahur muktis vimuktis talo dwara yositam sangi sangam mat te sama Chita Prasanta Viman Yava Sarida Sadhava Ye." One can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. These personalities are impersonalists and devotees. When one wants to merge into the Lord's edition and wants to associate with personal and God, one should render service to the Mahatmas. For those who are not interested in such activities, the path to hell is wide open. The Mahatmas are opposed. They do not see any difference between one living entity and another. They are very peaceful and fully engaged in devotional service. They are not devoid of anger. They work for the benefit of everyone. They do not behave in any abominable way. Such people are known as Mahatmas. So Zidbhavanam Jamanam Te Gyadavamam Pajante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahama Sudurlabha. So many lifetimes one may go through before he comes to the platform of serving Vasudeva. Such a great soul is very rare. So attraction between male and female. What's happening here? So this is the process of devotional service. is all due to association. Association is very important. And Srila Prabhupada established this society, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, so we can associate with like-minded people. If you associate with thieves, you become a thief. If you associate with drug addicts, you become a drug addict. If you associate with devotees, then you become a devotee. And so this is the necessary that we to avoid being contaminated by the influence of material nature. Says this material nature very difficult to overcome. But Krishna says, if one surrenders unto me, easy cross beyond it. So surrendering to Krishna means surrendering to Guru. Guru Krishna Prasadi by Bhakti Lata Beach. So this is the beginning of one's spiritual life. We find our bona fide Guru who can guide us. And so there's a Shiksha Guru, there's Diksha Guru. The Diksha Guru is one. He gives the initiation. Here it says the initiation is offering of the sacred bread and the vibration. They vibrate Om Tat Sat in the initiation ceremony. But we chant Hare Krishna, it's the same thing. Om Tat Sat is the spiritual sound vibration. And Srila Prabhupada in the 1950s, when he answered write letters to people, he'd write his name and sign it Om Tat Sat. But we generally say Hare Krishna, because that's the Yuga Dharma, chanting the holy name. So, the time of initiation is when one is willing to follow the four regulated principles: no eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. And chant 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra every day without fail. So this is called Sat. So Sat means the activities of Krishna consciousness. And Asat will be explained in the next verse, which means things that are not conducive to Krishna consciousness. So here it's mentioned that one should offer service, including such service as cooking, helping in the Lord's temple, or any other kind of work of broadcasting the glories of the Lord. These supreme words, Om Tat Sat, are thus used in many ways to perfect all activities and make everything complete. So, we have many devotees living in the temple, and they're given different services. But it may look like we're doing the same thing as everybody else in the world. We're cooking in the kitchen, and all the houses in Vrindavan, all the world, people are cooking. But we're not cooking for our own pleasure. We're cooking for the pleasure of Krishna. That means when we're cooking, we don't taste anything or smell anything thinking, how can I enjoy this? Which should be avoided in all circumstances. And let's see, cooking and cleaning the temple. Prabhupada said the Pujari and the person cleaning the temple, the Pujari shouldn't think that I'm doing a better service than the person who's cleaning the temple. That's Kanista Bhakta, neophyte devotee. He thinks that I'm doing better service than everyone else. And he doesn't know that the super soul is in everyone's heart. He doesn't know how to respect the devotees either. This Kanista, Lord Pillai call this a separatist, one who doesn't have full interest in the Lord. He thinks he has his own interests, his mixed devotional service. He wants to fulfill his desires at the same time. He wants to serve the Lord and fulfill his material desires at the same time. But a pure devotee is described in the 15th chapter, verse number 5. Those are free from false prestige, false association, done with material lust, the 15th chapter. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, false association, who understand the eternal, are done with material lust, free from the dualities of happiness and distress, who, unbewildered, know how to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, attain to the eternal kingdom. So it also says that that kingdom, the eternal kingdom of God, is not illuminated by the sun or moon or electricity, and one goes there, one never comes back. So this is the goal of the Krishna conscious movement. If someone doesn't have a goal in their life, then they can never be peaceful, because they're always searching for something that will satisfy their senses. But we know lust, greed, and anger, the three gates to hell. And lust and greed can never be satisfied. If a man has $1 million, then he wants $2 million. So in this way, he is always trying to protect what he has and get more and more and more. One man was making $500,000 every year, and it came into one of the Back Together magazine. The man was making $500,000 a year, which is quite a comfortable life. But he wasn't satisfied with that. So he started scheming, making lafra, scheming, making plans how to get more money. So he eventually cheated people out of $400 million until they finally caught him, and then he had to go to jail for 20 years. So he wasn't satisfied with just what he was getting. He had to get more and more and more. So this is the way of material life. It's like you're putting fuel in the fire to put out the fire. It just burns more and more and more. So material life is like that. It just there's no real happiness in this material. Tukaya lama shasvatam. From the highest planet to the lowest planet, all are places of misery where repeated birth and death take place. So by coming to Krishna consciousness, we have a very simple living and high thinking. Prabhupada wanted all the householders to give 50% of their income. That means he wanted them to just maintain their household and only accept the basic necessities of life. I don't know if the householders do that, but that was the standard he set. That the householders should, as a form of austerity, to be a householder. But you have to maintain your family, and you have to also do so many other things. And the duties of a householder are there in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 11 to 15. So this is the process of devotional service, rendering favorable to devotional service. It should be haitikiya pratiyata. Savai kumsam prodharma yito bhaktira apsuje. Haitikiya pratiyata enama supersedati. Devotional service should be unmotivated and uninterrupted. So it's not so easy to come to that platform to do service without being motivated. But still, they asked Srila Prabhupada, what if Krishna wasn't God? And Prabhupada said, well, even if Krishna's not God, we still have the best lifestyle. So, devotees in the Krishna conscious movement were not in anxiety like the materialistic people. One devotee has a friend who became a millionaire, and the devotee is the householder, and he's living a simple life. So the person who became a millionaire said, I think your lifestyle is better than mine. Well, he's not willing to change, but he still could appreciate that devotee was a better lifestyle. Because even if he has $1 million and he has all the cars he wants, all the houses he wants, everything he wants, he can have, and he's always in anxiety how to keep his money, how to live in his condition and maintain his business. This is all always giving him so much anxiety and so much trouble. And the Prophet says that the household life means that you have so many attachments. With one sadhu who was meditating in the forest, and the mouse came and was disturbing his kalpans. So he didn't know what to do. So we got a cat to keep away the mice. But then the cat was hungry. So we got a cow to give milk to the cat. But then when he got a cow, he needed someone to take care of the cow. So we got a wife. Then he had a wife and a cow, and then he needed a house. And then when he had a house and a wife, then he had children. Then he gave up his spiritual life. He forgot about his spiritual life. And this is what happens when you enter into household life. There's every chance of being entangled and attached to so many things. So being Grihastha in Krishna consciousness is not so easy. And best to avoid it all. If you can avoid it altogether, it's better to avoid getting married. The Prophet said that the answering for households is very slow and next to nil. Because you have to always be worrying about maintaining your family and getting money. But it's an ashram, and people should live Krishna conscious life in the Grihastha ashram and follow all the rules and regulations. And then if the husband and wife are Krishna conscious and they put Krishna in the center of their life, then they can live happily, peacefully together. So this is recommended here, service. So everyone should find some service which they can do, and of course it says here one can find some service, any kind of service, Lord's temple, and these words, Om Tat Sat, are used in many ways to perfect all activities, make everything complete. So, of course, we don't, Om Tat Sat is a spiritual soul vibration, but it's not the Yuga Dharma. The Yuga Dharma is chanting Maha Mantra. And we also chant the Panchatattva mantra, heard last night from Rohini Sutta. He also said that was the same as the Maha Mantra. So we can Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Guru Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Sri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda. We chant that, leave one time or as many times as you like before we begin our japa. And we also chant that in every kirtan before chanting the Maha Mantra. This way, this will clear out all the offenses to the holy name, and so we can chant purely. So Prabhupada told us that to chant Panchatattva mantra, Hare Krishna mantra, and we should chant the other mantra. What's that other mantra? Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. So it says, especially in Mayapur, they should chant this in every kirtan. So this is also a way to free us from offenses to the holy name. Offenses, Seva Aparad, there's Vaishnava Aparad, there's Dhamma Aparad, there's Jiva Aparad. So we should be careful not to commit offenses in the discharge of devotional service. Especially the first offense is called blasphemy of the devotees of the Lord. If you blaspheme the devotees of the Lord, offend the devotees of the Lord, then your devotional service can be checked or stopped for not only this lifetime, but many lifetimes. So if we offend a lesser devotee, the reaction is less. But if we offend a pure devotee, the reaction is more severe. We know that one man His name was Gopal Chapala. He was not allowed to enter the kirtan at Srivas Sangam, Srivas Thakur's house. So he put the articles for worshipping Goddess Katyani or Goddess Durga on the doorsteps of Srivas Thakur. And in the morning, Srivas Thakur opened the door and he saw all these articles for worshipping Goddess Katyani. He called on the neighbors and he said, "Look, I'm a Shakti worshipper. I worship Goddess Katyani." But of course they knew it wasn't true. So he had the place cleaned up. They cleaned it and he went on his doors of service. But Gopal Chapala, because of his committed Vaishnava aparat, he got leprosy. And since leprosy is contagious, he couldn't live in the village. He had to go outside the village and live in the forest. And then he met Mahaprabhu at one point, and when he asked Mahaprabhu, "You're the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can you please alleviate me in my suffering?" Because when you commit Vaishnava, you suffer, but you don't die. The suffering goes on. But Mahaprabhu was very angry. He said, "You offended Srivas Thakur, and not only your suffering has just begun, and that Yamaraj has 84,000 different kinds of punishments he dishes out to people. You're going to have to go through each and every one of them." But then Gopal Chapala was advised by Lord Chaitanya to go to Srivas Thakur and beg forgiveness. So he did that. He got forgiven. He became a Vaishnava and Vaishnava poet. So in this way, we should practice devotional service, avoid the 10 offenses to the holy name, avoid the offenses to in the seva, deity worship, avoid offenses to in the holy dham. There are different offenses to be avoided, and we should render service. Idle mind's the devil's workshop. So if we don't have service, you should find some service. If you in Vrindavan we have 24-hour kirtan, so if you can't find any service, then you can always sit in the kirtan and chant Hare Krishna. And this way you can fill up your life. The devotee doesn't like to waste his time. He wants to be engaged 24 hours a day. In Srila Prabhupada, he had to take rest in the afternoon for a couple hours. He said, "Now I'm going to waste my time." So seeing Srila Prabhupada utilize all his time for practicing Krishna consciousness, he thought taking rest was a waste of time. But for us, we sleep 6 hours. Bhagavad says one should not eat too much or sleep too much. One should not eat too little or eat too much, sleep too much, sleep too little. Moderation. We should do things in moderation. Devotional service is spoiled if you eat too much, or if you talk about mundane subject matters, or if you follow rules and regulations for the sake of following them for advancement or act whimsically. These things, and if you associate with worldly-minded people, and this is also detrimental to devotional service. So Rupa Goswami gives what is it will spoil our devotional service. He also tells us what will make our devotional service successful. So this verse, purport, very nicely explained here. Who's a sadhu? What's his activities? Says the only one who is fully Krishna conscious, fully conscious of the activities of Krishna consciousness, he's called a sadhu. So we're not fooled by other people, other groups, and other people who dress like sadhus but don't meet the qualifications of a sadhu. So Om Tat Sat, that is vibrated, is Om in every Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, all important, we chant Om, and many times during the day, it's in Prabhupada's name. And so this is what's indicated here, Om Tat Sat. Sat means performance of sacrifice and penance and charity or to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is, we are life in such a way that we always act in such a way to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to please the devotees. Yasha Prasada, Bhagavat Prasada, Yasha Prasada, Naragin Gopi, Dayam Stugam, Satyaya Shangham, Angega Roshi, Charana Vrindavan. So this is secret to success in Krishna consciousness. If you please the spiritual master, Krishna is pleased. If Krishna is pleased, the spiritual master is pleased. So we should always be praying to the deities, Gornitai, Krishna Balaram, Radha Sundar, for their mercy, that we can continue our devotional service in this life, that we can avoid all the offenses and not finish the business, go back to Godhead in this life, not have to take birth again and suffer in this material world. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?